what is possible in 1 year. And you guys are right on the cusp of a new year. And we're talking about exiting. So sometimes people think that exiting is impossible, right? It's like, I'm just starting my business. I'm not ready to talk about an exit. I'm just here. There's no way I'm starting. So I want to get you guys in the mindset of anything is possible. You might have set a number that you wanted to sell your business for, and I want you just to bring all that stuff up, even if it's scary, and say, it is possible. So I want to celebrate with you, even in this year. And thank you. Linda already started to do it. Look what we accomplished in 1 year. I wanted to celebrate this for those that showed up. These are all the sessions we did over the last 12 months. If you had started with us in January and did every single one of these, you would have been able to identify gold mines. You would have been able to risk proof your business, charting paths for growth, leading a business to greater heights. We did so much. What's your wealth gap, profit gap, value alignment? How do you walk through this? And you think about, as the year to come, what do you want to create? And don't limit yourself by the doubt or the fear, because anything is possible. To be honest, when I took on this, I was like, I made this and was like, we're just going to do this month by month, you know, because I didn't even know, taking on this position, what it was going to entail. And it's been quite the journey. This is what we did, and I'm going to celebrate it with you all. Right? It's a celebration, and you guys get to go back and watch some of these things. So if you didn't watch it, go back. All right, let's dive in. I want to talk about exiting, but I want to do it from a different way, because I was thinking about, like, we've been talking about exiting and talking about growth and talking about these different things in this series of roundtables. But if we were to walk away and you think of, like, what do I want everybody to be able to do to have a successful exit? These three things came up. What do you think are the three things? If you are only able to focus on three areas of your company, if you can just put one in, we'll see if you guys hit on any of the ones that I pulled up. Because I was like, man, I want you to walk away with so much value in this session that whatever you do, you can do it. Okay. Love it. And these are things you guys can work on too. I'm going to only pose the top three, I think, if you were to focus on, but you guys have great ones coming through. Reducing risk, financial systems, database, all incredible stuff, maximizing the valuation. All right, I'm going to reveal what the three are we're going to talk about today and how you can do it. Three key areas. First one, profit, taxes, and independence. And we'll get into this, but if you were to focus on three areas, and if you have sat in on these sessions, you will know that we have talked about these three in different ways, multiple times, in different views, and how powerful they can be for an exit. Okay. So I'm going to go to the first one. Profitability. It is a key to a lucrative exit. A few things come up when it comes to being profitable. I like how my first, there it is. Profitability is the single biggest driver of business value. When investors and when buyers are looking at the company, they want to know, how profitable are you? You could be making millions of dollars, and we see this in companies, making millions of dollars, but walking away with hardly anything. The expenses are so high, the taxes are so high, you walk away with literally almost nothing. And you go, what am I doing? How can I make that better? How can I get my business where I'm making good money, but I'm bringing all that back? And so profitability is really, really important for an exit. And I want you to think about it as consistent growing profits. If I can keep building my business, but keep growing that profit margin, how empowering that will be for your business. And it gives you some tools to play with. And buyers will evaluate the return on investment. How long will it take me, when I buy your business, to earn back what I put into it? So I know that I bought a business that I know in a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, I've got my return on investment. And from there, I'm just making money. Pretty cool to be able to think of it that way. But that's how investors are looking at it. If you're going with a strategic buyer, Even an individual that wants to take on a business, that's it, they're excited. That's a buyer. It may not be strategic, but they may be looking at, well, how long will it take for me to get my money back? So here's the first thing to think about when it comes to profit. Now, this EBITDA number is used in valuations and different things, but I want you to really look at this for your business. It's what you earn before you pay any interest on debt, what you earn before you pay your taxes, what you earn before you take any depreciation, and what you earn before any amortization, if you are even using that figure, and you may not, right? You may only be in the first two or the first three. It is how you're operating. So when you're looking at an example, let's say in this example, $1 million EBITDA at a 5-time multiple, that would be $5 million. But what happens in this example if I'm only able to increase my profitability by 200K? What happens to that valuation? It goes up because I'm still multiplying it by 5. So you think about just 100, just 50, just $200,000 difference in my profit, the impact that has on the long term of your business. Wow, pretty incredible. What are you guys thinking so far? Give me some, yeah, that's awesome. It doesn't take a lot to make a really big impact. Now, some of you may not use this valuation when you exit. You may not use it EBITDA. You may use a seller discretionary earnings, but even there, you're looking at how much profit am I taking home and what will somebody else be able to do with it? Okay, let me give you the second one. So the first one is if I have a profit, my higher earnings, I get a higher valuation. If you have a higher profit, you go from maybe a individual buyer or strategic buyer to now maybe a private equity firm. It could be even maybe it could be a management buyout. Your employees love the business so much and they see how much you're making that they're like, I want to purchase this business. So you open the door to just not a very narrow niche of people that could look at buying your business, competitors. I think I forgot which one of you said that. Working with your competitors may be your future buyer. How cool is that? Because they want to either combine your services with their services because you guys will be able to do more, or they want to take you and take your business because they know they can do it either at your level or whatever level they're doing. These are potential buyers. And if you're profitable and you're in the same industry, they may look at you and say, okay, we want them. There's a firm out in California called Hawk Media, and in the last like 3 years, I've been in communication with them. I work with them on different stuff, and they just bought up like 10 or 12 different companies in different media place companies that were doing stuff, and they have the owners working them still inside of that bigger company. And these people had great exits, and they're still getting paid. Okay, kind of cool. What about the third one? All right. We have a strong negotiating power. When you have money, guess what? You get to negotiate, right? You don't have to accept whatever comes. You get to say, well, this is how I'd like to see. This is the terms I would like to have based on what I'm doing. And if you have more than one buyer, guess what? There's a negotiation in that. So think about the power in profit with your negotiations. Okay. Now, let's see, where am I at here? Okay, here we go. Ideal profitability. Some people will say, well, that's great, Amanda. What should I be getting in profit? Because that's one thing to say it. It's another thing to do it. And what do I need to have when I look at it? So profitability, 10 to 20% EBITDA. Now, for a mid-size in most industries, however, if you want to be super attractive, 20% profit in EBITDA. However, when you think about net profit is after all expenses, everything is paid down. It's like my very, very ending of what I make, that profit, that number is your net profit. This will be lower than this EBITDA number. And it may be significant if you're paying high taxes, if you have high interest, let's say you took out a loan or something like that. So this is one thing to aim for. But if you want to do a profit margin for the end number, how you can do that is you can say total revenue. It's going to be total income over total revenue times 100%. What is my profit margin? And so you can even look this up online, but I would suggest looking at what did you make in your profit margin this year? It could be before taxes, before interest. You could do that number, or you can do it after. What is my final net end of the year number that I got, what is my profit margin on that? And what do I want to do next year? Can I pull it up to 5 to 10 to 20%? Could I do it? And what do I need to do to be able to get it there? Consistent growth, if you are steady over a year, you are more viable as a buyer will look at you and say, okay, consistent growth is what we love. If you also have consistent growth, you have other tools you can use, and it just becomes a win-win-win. You can also compare yourself to other competitors in the industry. And there are different tools out there where you can compare what is the profitability of my industry, and am I hitting the minimum, the average, or am I at max in my industry, which is actually pretty cool. And you can do some just research just to get a rough estimate. But when you do valuations, that's what they're looking for. Where are you in comparison to everybody else? And if you're at the top of the top, guess what? They want you, right? Okay, let's do some take-home action items. Where are we? Yes. So Leadership Global gave you this awesome opportunity. Now, this link is going back to the really cool tool that is available through Leadership Global called the PIQ analysis. And if you have not done this, I highly suggest going in and doing it. It will show you your top level customers, your top level services. It will show you your bottom 5 customers, your bottom services. So you know, well, am I spending too much time in a certain area, and where should I be delegating my energy to make the highest profit with the best return? And guess what? This doesn't take very long to do. I pose the question, what is available in 1 year? This can be done on some companies as quick as 3 to 6 months, if not even faster, depending on what type of industry it is. So what's happening, why it's happening, and what to do about it. Most companies cannot answer that question. They cannot. And if you take this link and go get it done, do it. It's worth it, especially if you are running a business and making revenues and you're looking to really increase that profit margin. Okay. That's my take action step for this one. So profit is key for a lucrative exit, and you can be in the driver's seat of your own profit. It's just taking some time of how can I do it? Yeah. Oh, cool. Joanne, awesome. So she's collaborating with them to help bring this to Australian companies. Good to great. Okay, we want to take you from good to great. So when it comes to taxes, this is very, very important. What we're going to talk about here is could change the trajectory of your business structure, how you're running things, because how you are set up makes an impact. So why does it matter? Maximizing your tax proceeds. Well, taxes can take a significant amount of your earnings today. It can also take a significant amount of your sale tomorrow. It is just, unfortunately, I don't know how many of you are in both paying federal tax and state tax. We're blessed in Texas to only pay the federal, but some of you are in states where you have to pay state tax. This starts to become a burden. So what can I do for an exit when you get a lump sum and you're like, well, now I've got a lot of taxes. So you can do capital gain optimization. Remember, capital gains, you're either going to pay 0, 15, or 20%, depending what structure you're in. And is that capital gain short-term or long-term? So some ideas here is if you have things that are for sale, like any assets in your business, hold it more than 1 year before you sell. So it's considered long-term. The other ideas here that will help is tax advantage structures. So think about, there are other ways when you're thinking about an exit that you could use. Maybe it's an installment sale. Maybe it's not taking all the money up front. Maybe it's spreading it out. Maybe it's deferring your payments. Some of you do this just year to year, wait till January and get paid in January. That's expense acceleration and your income, how you're moving your income over to the next year. You can stay with the company, let's say for 2 to 3 more years, and they pay you part of your sale over those 2 to 3 years to spread out what you made. So you're not paying as much taxes in 1 year. It's now just over a few years. Also, there are different ways of structuring your company. How many of, if you want to put in there, you can, but S Corp, C Corp, LLCs, they all have different taxes, right? C Corp, you pay taxes twice. S Corp, but it has a great advantages for you in other ways. S corps also have great advantages, but the type of sell could lead to higher taxes than another. So this is something we usually don't, it would be a much longer discussion, but I want to just get you thinking, if I were to sell in whatever number of years, how can I maximize my capital gains? There are other tools we can share. You just got to schedule one-on-one with me. What is the structure that I'm getting paid in? And what is the structure of my business? Those are three key areas that if you even just wrote this down today or took a picture of it and said, I probably need to look at this in more in detail, it's worth it. Okay, just a few more, and then we're going to get to the action item. So increase the buyer confidence. A buyer will scrutinize your tax history. Be prepared for it. So what you want to do is make sure all filings are complete, they're accurate, and they're up to date, and you're keeping them in a safe spot. I call it the business vault. If you're putting, and we help companies with business vaults, putting everything into a safe place where it's all together so you don't have to go, well, that 2023 filing, I remember I got it from the site from the tax person, but where did I put it? It's helping you organize everything into an easy process. So think about that. Your taxes, you want to keep them up to date. Minimize the liabilities. Address any potential back taxes or penalties. This could really hurt a sell if you have anything in the past that's still with you today. So how you keep up with it will help reduce your risk, especially for selling. And they're looking at those things. They're looking at the taxes as part of your business. Make sure that if you do any tax strategies, let's say your accountant tells you, oh, you can do the Augusta rule, host a party at your home, have your business pay you, and do all this stuff. If you did not track this or do it properly or do it in the proper process, then it is going to be scrutinized when somebody else comes in and looks at this. And you may even pose a risk to yourself if you're not documenting the strategy that you're trying to implement. So there are tools out there. Reach out to me if you're interested in this. How do I structure and track everything I'm doing so I make sure that I've got a very clean company in all aspects? Is that helpful? I don't know if that's helpful. Um, okay, flexibility. Tax efficient strategies provide you options that will suit both your goals and the desires of the buyer. Structured deal. Tax planning allows flexibility in deal structuring, such as this is a big, am I going to sell assets in my company or am I going to sell stock? And this is a big conversation if you are looking at an exit in the future. What am I actually selling in my company? What am I selling IP? Am I selling a patent? Am I selling a process? Am I selling anything that's trademark? What does that look like? What am I selling? And how do the taxes pose a different on the assets or a stock? Retention is also really powerful. So if you can build your team to stay with the new buyer, you are more profitable, or sorry, you're going to be more profitable, but when you have the team with you in the transition, usually companies that are purchasing or strategic buyers will look at that as way more valuable than, okay, well, we're out, the team's gone, and you have now a structure of what you could make money. So keep in mind, how can I really keep my employees here for the long haul? They call them, has anybody heard of golden handcuffs? You guys heard of this term, golden handcuffs? It is used to be able to help your key employees, giving them something of bonus. That's why they call them golden. And in return, they've got to stay with you to get the benefit. So when you do things like this, it's strategies that you can use, not only for business today, which will definitely help your profitability and your exitability, but it will help you in the long run. Also, if you guys joined us for the discussion with Noelle, she talked about this smart gifting. You can do charitable, different tools for an exit that can really significantly save you taxes, and trust strategies for families and even individuals that are selling. If you have two owners, you could do two different strategies on how you receive the money. So just think about this. It is high level. We could get into the weeds. Right now, we're in the treetops looking down. Okay. All right. So what are some action steps you could do today? Because I just threw a whole bunch on you, and that's really heavy. The last section's super easy. It'll be way more fun. But that's good. It's good information. But keep tax filing and strategy up to date. This is probably one of the biggest takeaways of tax. The tax side is keep it documented, keep it up to date, and explore your entity type. Even if that means just doing a little research or let's schedule a call. What are the pros and cons of your entity structure? And if you needed to change the structure, we've got connections. Leadership Global has legal professionals. There are people to help you through this and make sure you are set up properly based on your goals. So you know that you can walk through and exit at any time, anyway, with power. Whew. All right. Oh, I did add this in. This is just seller preference. Do you want to sell stock or assets? Corporations facilitate stock sales while LLCs and sole proprietors usually sell the assets. However, that is not always the same, but it is usually tend to be this way. Tax treatment, corporations face double taxation unless structured as an S corp. And LLCs and partnership usually pass through taxation to the owner. And who are the buyer types for these types of entities? Well, institutional buyers prefer corporations, while individuals may prefer, or strategic buyers may even prefer an LLC or partnership for tax reasons. So it's really kind of a combination of what do I have, what am I selling, and who is that perfect person, and how do I align the three so I could walk through for a lucrative exit. And for any of you that have been on any of our past ones, if you have a $30,000 or more tax liability, you can build your own exit through pension planning. It is a great tool for small business owners, 10 employees or less, to transform your exit because then you don't have to depend on the sell. You can actually build your own exit without having to actually sell. And those plans, if you're profitable enough, you could put enough money away up to the IRS limit, which is about 3.9 million over a 10-year stretch, and walk away. Unless you wanted more, then you'd probably need to do something else after. But if that was workable for your rest of your life, that is a tool. Okay, maybe give me some feedback on that for the taxes. And I want to get through because I want to talk to you guys and do this, and we're right at the 30-minute mark. But when it comes to taxes, any nuggets that you thought was like, maybe I should look into this more. It would be helpful to know what came up for you. Was it entity structure? Was it the type of sale? What am I selling? What's coming up for you that would be something maybe going forward you'd want to know more or research more, or maybe even we could schedule a meeting just so I can see where you guys are. Oh, nice. Joanne, yeah, looking for business growth. Cool. Simple, great reminder. What else? What else came up for you guys in that? And if you're just starting out, that's okay. Now is the time. You never know when an exit could happen. It can happen in the next year, right? What could happen in 12 months? Somebody might just like your business and say, ooh, I want to take it. And now what? Right? What am I worth? What can I do? Am I structured right? Did I do it all properly? Do I have all my taxes in a row? These are all the things you can do now. Okay. All right. So we talked about the first one, profit. Your action step was look into the profit IQ, or at least do a profit margin and chart your profitability in your company. At least do that. The second one is taxes. How do I take my taxes and make them work for me now? And how do I really reduce the taxes when I sell this thing? And what other tools do I need to be looking at when I do it? The third one is independence, the pathway to independence. When you are no longer running your business can run on its own. You have a sellable business. It is no longer a job. It is a company that you can pass to somebody else and they take your seat. We've talked about this all year. So what do you need to be able to do? Delegation. You need to be able to delegate for this to be running on its own. So if you're still wearing all the hats, that's okay. What can happen in a year, 2 years, 3 years? Who do you need on your team to help delegate those tasks to somebody else? Even if it is an executive assistant, even if it's one other person to help you, how can you take some of the load off yourself? That will help you drive more business potentially, and it will help you with all different other tools. So delegation, documentation, and automation. Out of these three, which one are you working on or would like to work on for 2025? So out of these three, which one would you like to work on or working on for 2025? Yeah, Betty, delegation. Same here. I'm working on all these three. It feels like we're doing all kinds. We're rehauling the whole business on this back end to make sure that we can really make it a big impact. And yeah, all three. Yeah, Joanne, all continuously. Yes. Documentation, Liz. Okay. All three, a little at a time. Yes. Wendy, that's a good point. You don't, it doesn't have to be all at once, but it can be a little bit every time. And we talked about this, right? 12 months. If I did a little bit, I will be much farther than if I did nothing. And we're going to talk about the nothing part in a second. What happens if I do nothing, right? Procrastination. So on your way to independence, guess what pops up? And maybe you can put in the chat what's popping up for you. Facing your pathway of challenges when you are walking into independence, usually we see these three things, maybe four, pop up. What comes up for you when you think about your journey in your business thus far and the things you want to accomplish? What comes up for you that is potentially holding you back from doing what you want or even getting exit ready or whatever it might be? What pops up for you? And I'll share my little story. So procrastination pops up for me when I don't know, lack of clarity, how to do something fully. I'll get it up to a certain point and then procrastinate, right? Because I don't know how to get it to the finish line. And then I get frustrated and then the pile of things come on and then you go, then I make a reason and excuse. I just didn't have time. I didn't know what to do and I didn't have the right people. And then this becomes like this, wow, this little snowball circle that just keeps repeating. So we have to see where's this starting? And if I don't have clarity, where can I get the clarity? If I'm procrastinating, what can I do today to move that procrastination out of the way? And then what's my reason for it? And sometimes it's just writing it out. What is my reason? So let me see what you guys are putting. Oh, you guys are quiet. Uh-oh. You guys are quiet. What's happening? What are you facing? Liz, thanks. Yeah. I'm facing all these. So procrastination comes up. Yep. Yep. Okay. Yeah, the lack of, yeah, focusing on sales. Yep, lack of clarity. Oh, but which do I tackle each day? Ooh, I don't suffer, but you do want to tackle them each day. I like that. You guys are all walking in your shoes, right? I'm sharing general things, but you guys all have things you're going through and dealing with. So here's my action item for you right now. This is the first one. Right, right, not white, right. One reason or excuse that keeps you from creating your pathway to independence. Now, you told me what comes up. Give me one reason or excuse, and you don't have to tell this in the chat. You can just write it for yourself. But what is one reason or excuse that has kept you from creating your pathway to independence? What is one thing you are telling yourself that is keeping you from stepping into that independent space? And I think one of you said the one that I've said before is I got to make enough money to get another person, right? I've used that one to get another person to be able to do this together. That one comes up a lot. If you're starting off and you're brand new, I need to make enough to be able to bring somebody else on. So then what else? There's other solutions. What else could I do? So this is step one. So just give me a thumbs up if you have your reason or excuse that you tell yourself. Now, I'm not saying you are a reason or excuse maker, just usually we have a reason that we're not doing things in our business. So you could choose anything. If it's not independence, you don't deal with this problem. What is it in your business that you're saying that you're not doing to be able to get to where you want to be? It could be really just open it up. I put it kind of in the containment of this, but it's bigger. And then we can talk about it and hear what you guys are thinking and what you're dealing with. Okay. I got Liz is done. Who else? Yeah. Thanks, Wendy. What else? Yep. Cool. Here's the second step. Write one solution. What is the solution for the reason that you are giving yourself or excuse? What is one solution you could bring to your own business for yourself for whatever reason? It could be anything. And for those of you that I am like, I call myself the queen of reasons or queen of excuses because I could create just about, I almost wanted to make a site like, just come to me. If you need a reason or excuse, I can give you one because it's just, it's, if you start in this path, you can create them. So what I want to do is if we address it, then we just know that it's there. And then what can I do about it? I'm transforming the reason or excuse that I'm giving myself into an action. And I use it to my advantage, knowing what I can do. So the third step after you write your solution is write your choice. What do you want to do? Because really, every day we're faced with choices in our business. I will either choose to prepare my business for exit, I will choose not to. I will either choose to work on my profitability, I will choose not to. I will choose to work on my sales, I will choose to work on my documentation, I will choose to work on my risk management, or I will not. So we are making choices, and unfortunately, the choices don't come as one little post. They're usually coming like rainfall. You've got all this stuff coming in on you all at the same time, and you've got to make many, many choices. And sometimes those reasons will hold us back from the real choices, the real deep stuff we want to create. And it could be fear, and it could be doubt, and it could be I'm not sure's that are coming up because we just don't have a solution or choosing the solution we want. So hopefully this is hitting home. So in what ways are you ready for an exit? Here's a few things and I'm gonna open it up for us to talk. So the first way you can really for an exit, we have an assessment that you could take. It's called the exit readiness assessment. If you just want to take it, it's great. It gives you a scale of where am I in my business. It's free. It takes 20 questions and it lets you know, am I really ready? And if I'm not ready, where can I work on this year? Did you choose the best next step? And did you outline a pathway with guideposts? So we are here about exit planning. You are where you are in your business. So having a good place to where am I now? What can I do? And what are the steps I'm going to take can really just bring a lot of clarity instead of like, I know there's a lot of things to do and I don't know where to focus. Or you know where to focus, and this is going to maybe be what you're going to do later after you get that first portion done. So it is just another tool in your tool belt that you have to use. Okay. Okay. What can you do today? We talked about three things: the profit, the taxes, and the independence. How to really build your company for a lucrative farewell. If you do these three things, you're able to exceed your profits. You're able to really use taxes and maximize it. You'll take home more money than you could probably have imagined just by doing that extra step. And independence, you're a sellable business. So you can do the analysis, you can assess that tax situation, you can document tax strategies, you can work with myself or your accountant or another tax planner to do that. Keep a log of everything you're doing, delegate as much as you can, document everything, set yourself up for automation, and start building your business vault. If you want to learn more about that, let me know. But your business vault is that first step of the exit planning process to put everything together.